It is often said that a mother's love for her daughter is a silent guardian, always watching over her well-being, guiding her through life's storms. Is that the case in Auntie B's story? Let's find out. Beatrice, popularly called Auntie B, is the owner of a well-known restaurant in the vibrant city. She was a mother of 3 daughters and ran this restaurant, B's Delights, which was famous for its mouth-watering dishes and assorted meats. 2 of her daughters, Rita and Tina, had finished their secondary school, while Anita, who is the youngest, was still in secondary school. The restaurant was the family's sole source of income, and Auntie B left no stone unturned in making sure her customers were always satisfied. The restaurant was always opened from morning till night, providing services from breakfast to dinner. To keep her business thriving, Auntie B resorted to a variety of tactics, the most notorious of which was her special service, as she always called it, that attracted numerous male customers. Men frequented her restaurant not only for the delicious meals, but also for the chance to spend the night with either of her elder daughters for a prize. This secret service provided the family with substantial additional income, and Auntie B was very strict with her daughters about it. At first, when the daughters finished secondary school, they weren't happy with what their mom was introducing them to. And they told their mom, "Mom, we don't like this. We want to go to school. My sister wants to be a lawyer, and I want to be a medical doctor. Now that we are through with school, we want to go to the university." And Auntie B will always shout on her daughters, saying, "How can you say you want to go to the university? I have tried my best in training you down to secondary school level. Is this not selfishness? You want me to keep spending money on your education when your father, who is supposed to be taking care of you, ran away when you were just 10 years old? I have tried my best. You are through with secondary school, so now is the time for you to start supporting my business." The eldest daughter will say to her mom, "Mama, we can support your business by helping you cook and serve customers, not selling our body for money." And Auntie B would not give an ear to that at all. It got to a time where she started starving her daughters at home because they refused to succumb to her request of satisfying her male customers. And because they didn't want to be a stubborn child or go against their mother's requests, they decided to do exactly what their mother said. Auntie B started using her daughters as business, counting money every morning, because whenever the daughters returned from the male customers' houses, they always came back with huge amounts of money. She counted this money with so much joy, forgetting the dangers she's putting her daughters through, or the possible sickness or disease the daughters are likely to get. Dear viewers, are there really mothers like this? Have you heard a story or come across a mother like this? Well, let's keep listening to this story. Most people believe the success of Auntie B's Delights was due to the exquisite food she made, unaware that the daughters' nightly company played a significant role. The daughters, appearing to relish their interactions with the customers every night, sometimes encouraged them to drink excessively and then took advantage of their intoxicated states to steal from them. Auntie B always encouraged her daughters to keep doing what they are doing. She always praised them. These are my daughters. You are making so much money for your mother. Don't worry. Tomorrow, I will buy you beautiful clothes, beautiful and attractive ones, and I'll buy you some more hairs and makeup so you can look more attractive. Thank you, my daughters. Can't you see we are making so much money? You know your mother will not deceive you. We are making money, and that is all that matters. The children will reluctantly nod in agreement to what their mother was saying, and they continued this lifestyle for a very long time, forgetting the fact that they want to go to school. Anita, the youngest daughter of Madam B, saw everything going on, and she said to her sisters, "Sister, I don't like this lifestyle you people are living. No, I'm not going to do this when I'm done with secondary school." Not knowing her mother overheard what Anita was saying, and she shouted from the background, "Will you keep quiet? What do you mean by you don't like what they are doing? The money you have been feeding with and wearing good clothes with, you think I'm picking the money from the ground? Finish your secondary school and join your sisters. I don't have daughters for nothing. You have to work for the money." And Anita said, "Mama, I don't think I'm going to do this," Madam B yelled at Anita, and she angrily left the house that evening. One evening, while Auntie B and her daughters were attending to customers, a luxurious car parked in front of the restaurant. Auntie B and her daughters were astonished. They have never seen such a wealthy customer before. A man in his mid-50s stepped out of the car, and Auntie B wondered if he was lost. To her surprise, he walked in and requested for a menu. Auntie B quietly said to her daughter, "This man seems very wealthy. Opportunities like this are rare. Do whatever it takes to make him want to stay with you tonight. If he becomes a regular customer, we will make a lot of money." And her daughter responded with a smile, "Don't worry, Mama. I've got this under control. He will be captivated by me." Tina assured her mother as she prepared the food. With a confident smile, she served the man. "Here is your order, sir. And there's something extra that can help with digestion if you are interested," Tina said, subtly flaunting her allure. The man's entrance focused more on her than the food. The man ate his meal, and after the meal, he approached Auntie B and her daughters to settle the bill. He handed Tina a generous sum of money. "I know this is more than what I owe, but consider it a token of appreciating your beauty. I will come back tomorrow. Then I will take the extra digestion you said." And Tina understood with a smile and responded to the man, "Don't worry, sir. I will be here tomorrow night, waiting for you." Auntie B was very excited about the huge amount of money this customer gave to Tina. And she said to Tina, Tina, you have to make sure you work hard when you follow him home tomorrow. This customer is rich." And Tina said, "Mama, don't worry. You know I always make you proud." The next day, Tina was feeling an unease in her spirits. And she said to the mother, "Mama, I don't think I will follow that man home this night. I'm having an uneasy feeling about him." "Don't worry, Mama. Maybe some other time I'll follow another customer." And Auntie B yelled back at Tina, "You dare not say that. Ever since we started this business, this is the richest customer so far. How can you say you don't want to follow him this night when he comes? Tina, I don't want to hear that. Oh, you better follow the man when he comes back." And then Tina responded, "Mama, please. Anytime I think of the man coming to pick me this evening, my spirit is always not accepting it. My heart is always skipping. Let's just let go of this man." And Auntie B was not ready to listen to whatever her daughter was saying. And she said, "Tina, you must follow this man, and that is final." And because Tina wanted to respect her mother as usual, she reluctantly agreed to follow the man. That evening, the elderly man arrived with his luxurious car as usual. And he went straight to Auntie B, addressing her directly. "I would like to spend some days in my house with your daughter." Auntie B was like, "Days? That will cost you a lot of money." And the man said, "No problem. I have the money. I will pay as much as you want and even more." Auntie B, upon hearing that, agreed to his bidding without thinking twice. Who was this mysterious man? Was Tina's life in danger? Auntie B did not think of any of that. She pushed her daughter Tina into the man's car, telling her to make sure she behaves very well so they can get more money. And the man left with Tina. Auntie B did not suspect anything because the man already told her that Tina was going to be spending a lot of days with him. The next day, Rita, Madam B's older daughter, walked up to her mother and said, "Mama, did you bother to call Tina to know if she arrived well or if she's okay where she is?" And Madam B replied, "Don't worry, Rita. The man will take care of her." And Rita said to her mother, "Mama, I think I'm pregnant. Please, Mama, what do I do?" And Madam B said, "What? You can't say that. How can you be pregnant? How are we going to make more money if you get pregnant? My friend, you better look for what to do with that. Don't tell me that kind of a thing again." And she chased Rita out of her presence, asking her to do whatever it takes to make sure they make more money, not getting pregnant. Few days later, Auntie B was sitting in her restaurant when she received a call from a stranger that her daughter Rita was at the hospital, that she should run along to the hospital. When Auntie B got to the hospital, she saw her daughter's lifeless body lying on the floor. And she asked the doctor, "Doctor, what happened to my daughter?" And the doctor responded, "Madam, she attempted to get rid of a pregnancy, and this is what the result turned out to be." Auntie B started crying. "Oh no, I have led my daughter into killing herself. What do I do?" And just as she was walking out of the hospital, she saw where crowd gathered. She wondered why the crowds were there. And as she walked to the crowd to see what was going on, she saw her daughter's body, Tina, also on the floor. The crowd said a car came to drop Tina's lifeless body on the floor, that they had used Tina for ritual purposes. Auntie B was shattered. She was heartbroken. She had lost her 2 daughters in one day. She cried uncontrollably and blamed herself for everything. She said, "Oh no, I have killed my daughters with my own hands. Oh no." She kept on crying. That was when it dawned to Auntie B that she had made a very big mistake. And she said, "I have failed my daughters as a mother. All I wanted was them to have the best life, to have enough money. All the money they've been giving to me, I've been saving it for them. I guess I chose the wrong decision by sending them out. Oh no." And she cried. Anita, the last daughter, upon hearing what had happened, was very angry with her mother. And she said to her, "Mama, I told you, we don't need to sell ourselves. There are better ways to succeed," she said. And Madam B apologized to Anita. "Please forgive me, my daughter. Everything I did was for you and your sisters. I didn't know it would turn out like this." And Madam B closed down her restaurant completely and looked for other ways she could make money. After losing her 2 daughters, she wasn't ready to continue with that line of business again. And she focused more on taking Anita through her education and became the better mother that she was supposed to be in the first place. And Madam B lived in regrets for the rest of her life. If you were asked on your wedding day to call off the ceremony all of a sudden, would you pause to find out why? Or you would push forward ignoring the warnings? What exactly would you do, dear viewers? Aduni was the only daughter of her parents, cherished and adored by her 2 elder brothers, Nazi and Boma. From a young age, Aduni had always dreamed of marrying a wealthy man so she could proudly bear the title Odogu wife, which is a term used in describing the wife of a very rich man. She had a strong taste for luxury and was drawn to the finer things of life. So when Aduni met Ayo, a man of considerable wealth, she didn't hesitate to agree to marry him after only 3 weeks of knowing him. For Aduni, Ayo's riches were all that mattered, and she was thrilled to think of the glamorous life that awaited her. But my dear viewers, I want to ask, is riches the only thing that mattered in marriage? Let's find out in this story. The wedding plans were quickly set in motion after Ayo met her parents. Aduni was beyond excited about her upcoming wedding to an Odogu. Remember I said Odogu is a simple term used in describing a rich man. She eagerly awaited the day she would walk down the aisle dressed in her finest dress, ready to claim her title, Odogu's wife. She felt her dreams were finally coming to pass, and she said to herself, I have finally found the perfect man of my dreams, a man that has riches, money that is uncountable, and I'm going to finally bear the title of an Odogu's wife, of course. But my dear viewers, who wouldn't be happy to get married to a wealthy man, that your life would just be full of luxury and wealth? But wait, could that be the case in Aduni's story? The more reason why you should keep listening to this story. The day of the wedding finally arrived, and Aduni was all excited, getting her hair done, her makeup, everything that would make sure that wedding would be a success. But on that wedding morning, while Aduni was getting dressed, Nazi, Aduni's elder brother, walked into the room with a troubled expression. Troubled expression? What could he be up to? Before I continue this story, my dear viewers, this is a plea to you. If you're watching my videos and you haven't subscribed, please be a part of my growth, please, and click on that subscribe button. And if you're a returning subscriber, hey, my family, I see you. Thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate you, and I do not take your supports for granted. So let's go back to the story. So Nazi, Aduni's elder brother, said to her, "Aduni, you need to call off this wedding," Nazi said, his voice filled with urgency. Aduni turned to him, her face flushed with anger. "Why would you say that? This is my wedding day and you're trying to ruin it? How can you ask me to call off my wedding? For Christ's sake, it's my wedding day. You're supposed to be happy for me, dear brother." Nazi tried to reason with her, and he also tried to explain why, but Aduni would not listen. Instead, she lashed out, accusing him of jealousy. "You are just envious because ever since you finished your university, you haven't been able to get a good job or even become wealthy as my Ayo. That is why you don't want me to marry him, because you don't want me to enjoy riches. You don't want me to have what you can't achieve. You are the elder brother here. You should act as one." Nazi's heart sank at her harsh words. "Aduni, this isn't about me," he said. "I'm only trying to protect you. Try to listen to me, baby sister." But Aduni was too furious to care. She called him wicked and accused him of wanting to ruin her happiness. Hot and angry, Nazi left the room, vowing never to interfere again. Dear viewers, I'm sure you are wondering why Nazi will walk up to her baby sister on her wedding day and ask her to call off the wedding. But if you were Aduni, would you calm down to listen to your elder brother's reason, or you will react the same way Aduni just did? Despite her brother's warning, the wedding ceremony proceeded, and Aduni got married to Ayo. After the wedding, Aduni arrived at her husband's house with so much excitement. The house was indeed full of luxury and wealth. A big mansion that anyone would want to live in, of course. And Aduni was super excited. And she said, just take a look at all this glitz and glamour and luxury. And my brother Nazi wants me to call off the wedding of getting married to this wealthy man. He must be sick. Thank God I didn't listen to him of calling off the wedding. So this is what I would have missed. What a jealous brother. Other brothers are looking out for their baby sister. And all Nazi could do was to tell me to call off my wedding. Well, let me sit on this wealth and enjoy money. Aduni had no idea that Nazi had discovered something that could save her life. It's been 6 months after Aduni got married to Ayo, and her parents became worried because they haven't heard from Aduni in a long while. Her phone number was no longer connecting. Even the brothers did not hear at all from Aduni, and her parents became worried sick about their daughter. Back in the city, Aduni's dreams of a glamorous life as an Odogu wife soon turned into a nightmare. Within a few months of the wedding, Nazi's concern became painfully clear. Aduni's parents called Nazi and asked him what he wanted to say on the wedding day. That was when Nazi revealed that Ayo wasn't just a wealthy man. He was also part of a dark secret society. Nazi had also discovered that Ayo had been married 4 times before, each time to a different woman who mysteriously died within a year of their wedding. Ayo's wealth was tied to these deaths, as he sacrificed each wife to renew his life and maintain his riches. Aduni's parents were shocked to hear this, and they begged their son Nazi to please go look for their daughter Aduni in the city. Nazi, unable to shake his worry, decided to visit Aduni without informing Ayo. When he arrived at their lavish mansion home, he found the house eerily quiet. As he sat in the parlor, he heard strange voices coming from a locked room. Breaking down the door, he found Aduni crying, and she said to her brother in a whisper, "It's Ayo. He plans to use me to renew his life, just like he did with his other wives. I discovered all of his secrets after our wedding." Nazi was horrified, but acted quickly. He gathered Aduni's belongings, and they made their way out of the house. But as they reached the door, Ayo appeared, blocking their way. You think you can leave? Ayo sneered. No one escapes me, he said. Nazi stood his ground, his determination unshaken. I'm taking my sister out of this house today. Adoni trembled behind, her earlier anger and pride now replaced with sheer terror. She clutched Nazi's arms tightly, her mind reeling with the horrifying truth she had uncovered. Nazi, however, stood his ground, his face set with determination. You, this mere boy, you are challenging me, Ayo said to him. I have dealt with far stronger than you, and they've all fallen. Do you think you can stand against me? Without warning, Ayo lunged at Nazi, his movements swift and vicious. Nazi, summoning every pound of strength he had left, struck Ayo's face with a powerful punch, causing him to stagger backward. Nazi quickly followed with a well-aimed kick, sending Ayo crashing into a nearby table and shattered into pieces. Seizing that opportunity, Nazi grabbed Adoni's hand, pulling her towards the door, but Ayo, now enraged and bleeding, lunged at them one last time, his face twisted in fury. Nazi, however, was ready. With a swift move, he swung a broken table leg at Ayo, striking him squarely on the head. Ayo crumpled to the floor unconscious and defeated. Panting and shaking, Nazi and Adoni didn't waste a second. They bolted out of the house and into the night, running as fast as their legs could carry them. They didn't stop until they were far from Ayo's mansion, finally collapsing in exhaustion on the roadside. It was only then, as they caught their breaths, that the full weight of what had happened settled on Adoni. Tears welled up in her eyes as she turned to Nazi, her voice trembling with regrets. Nazi, she said, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I should have listened to you. I was so blinded by Ayo's wealth and the thought of becoming an Odogu wife that I didn't see the truth. I insulted you. I doubted your love for me and I put my life at risk. Can you ever forgive me, my dear brother? Nazi looked at his sister. His face was softened as he saw the sincerity in her eyes. He gently pulled her into a hug, holding her close. You are my sister, Adoni, he said. His voice was filled with emotion. I will always forgive you. What matters now is that you are safe and that you've learned from this. Wealth isn't worth your life. I just want you to be happy, but in the right way, my darling sister. Adoni nodded, her tears soaking his shirts. She knew that her brother was right, and she had been foolish to let material things cloud her judgments. She had learned a hard lesson, but she was grateful to have her brother by her side. Adesua was a young and beautiful woman who lived in the city with her wealthy husband and 2 kids. She had just finished her secondary education when she met and married the very wealthy man, Obinna. Obinna was kind-hearted and generous. He loved Adesua deeply and wanted the best for her. He offered to send her to the university after getting married to her. So one day, he sat Adesua down and said, My love, remember when I came to ask for your hand in marriage? I promised you I was going to train you in the university and that marriage shouldn't stop you from going to school. And Adesua bluntly refused because her husband was ready to train her in school. But she replied Obinna and said, My husband, I don't think there is need for me to go to school anymore. After all, you are a very rich man and you have all the money. What exactly do I need to go to school for? When your money can cover our future. And Obinna tried to make Adesua understand that she still needs an education, she still needs a certificate. But Adesua completely refused. Then, Obinna made another proposal. Adesua, my love, if you don't want to go to school, how about I set up a big business for you so that you can be able to earn your own money and get busy? And Adesua became angry and said, How can you tell me to run a business? Are you trying to put me under stress? When you came to get married to me, Obinna, you told me that I was going to enjoy my life. So why won't you leave me to enjoy your money? My husband is rich. Why should I be running a business of my own when your money is my money? Obinna, realizing that Adesuwa was not ready to go to school or even start a business of her own, decided to just let her be and place her under allowance. Adesuwa started enjoying her husband's wealth. She bought expensive clothes, traveled to beautiful places, and never worried about money. Despite her lavish lifestyle, Adesuwa was a good wife too. She took care of Obinna and their children with so much love and attention. She also made sure Obinna sent money to his family in the village regularly. Adesuwa had a friend called Nene. One day, Nene told her friend Adesuwa, "Adesuwa, I'm happy for you that you are married to a wealthy man and you are doing very okay. But I don't like the way you spend money lavishly. At least save some money. You can't keep spending money unnecessarily on things that you will not use. How about saving some money in the bank just in case?" And Adesuwa responded to Nene, "Nene, what do you mean by I should be saving money? Do you know the kind of money my husband Obinna has? My husband is a very wealthy man. He has so much money. So what amount of money do you think I can save in the bank that will measure up to the kind of money my husband gives to me? There's no need of saving. I'm okay like this." Nene tried to make Adesuwa see why saving money was very important. And Adesuwa got angry and said, "Nene, I can see you are jealous of me. Why don't you just tell me that you are jealous? How can you be telling me to save money? Don't you used to follow me for shopping while I buy you things? I can see it's because I'm always sending things to you and buying you things when I go out. That is why you have the guts to tell me to start saving money, Nene. If you don't want this friendship anymore, just tell me." And Nene, in order to maintain peace, kept quiet and never mentioned anything about saving money to Adesuwa again. Few months later, something tragic happened. One day, Obinna traveled on a business trip and got involved in a terrible car accident and died. Adesuwa was heartbroken. She cried because she wondered what she would do without her darling husband Obinna. But do you know the consolation she gave to herself? She said to herself, "Well, my husband Obinna is gone. What can I do? Well, thank God he's a very wealthy man and has enough money. So what I will just do is to just use his money to take care of myself and the kids. At least we are still living in a mansion and Obinna has plenty money in his bank accounts. Thank God." A few days after the funeral, a lawyer visited Adesuwa. She hoped he had good news about how Obinna has splitted his wealth for her and the children. Shockingly, the lawyer said, "I'm sorry, Adesuwa. Obinna did not write any will before he died. His younger brother, Chima, is the next of kin on his documents. Chima has always been the person on Obinna's next of kin right before he got married to you. And I am very certain Obinna forgot to change the next of kin on all his documents. And so, Adesuwa, I'm sorry to tell you that Chima is now the owner of your husband's properties because legally, Chima's name is on his documents as the next of kin." Adesuwa was shocked to hear this. She was helpless to even think that she has no money at all because she hasn't been saving. Chima arrived soon after hearing the news. He was determined to take everything Obinna owned. Chima took over all of Obinna's properties, leaving Adesuwa and her children with nothing. Adesuwa and her children were forced to leave their beautiful home. They had nowhere to go. Adesuwa turned to her friend for help, but they all had their own family problems to take care of. With no one to help her or nowhere to turn, Adesuwa packed few of her belongings and left the home because Chima had asked her to leave the house with her children. Holding her children's hands, she wandered the streets, feeling the weight of her mistakes. The nights were the hardest. She covered herself and her children under a blanket. She held her children close to her. Their stomachs were rumbling with hunger. They haven't eaten anything throughout that day. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months, Adesua tried to find work, but her lack of skills and education made it impossible. The little money she managed to collect when Chima did not notice was spent on food and shelter. Every day became a nightmare for Adesua. Agony washed through her soul. She regretted not going to school or starting a business like her late husband had told her to. One evening, one of Adesua's child said to her, "Mommy, I'm hungry. We haven't eaten since morning." Adesua's heart broke into pieces. She responded in a very heartbroken and tearful way. "I know, my child. I'm sorry for not saving when I had money. I didn't know all of this would happen to us. Please forgive me, my children." Despite her regrets, Adesua knew she had to be strong for her children. She decided to find a way to survive. No matter how small it is, she decided she was going to work hard. Adesua found a small job in a market, selling fruits and vegetables. It was hard work, but she did it for her children. She sat down and thought to herself, "I had the opportunity to open any kind of business I want in this life, but I turned it down, and I didn't even save any money, thinking it will always be bed of roses. If I had known it would turn out this way, I would have listened to my husband and my friend Nene." As days went by, months went by, Adesua continued selling in the market. The people in the market admired Adesua's determination and began to support her. Building trust with their help, she started to build a small loyal customer base. One day, a kind woman connected her to a big company that produces fruit juices, and Adesua started supplying the company with fruits. And Adesua's breakthrough came. Slowly, Adesua's business grew. She saved every penny she earned. After months of hard work, Adesua was able to save a substantial amount of money, and life became better for them. Adesua's business continued to grow. She added more products and hired more helpers. One day, Chima, Adesua's late husband's younger brother, saw her on the road and saw how well she was doing. Chima felt guilty for what he had done. He apologized to Adesua and offered to help her. Adesua forgave Chima. She knew holding on to anger wouldn't help her children. Chima helped Adesua expand her business even further, and they became good friends and partners. Adesua started to educate other women in the markets, teaching them about business and savings. She became a role model for many young women. They looked up to her for strength and wisdom. Adesua's children excelled in school. They were proud of their mother and worked hard to make her proud. And her business continued to strive. She never stopped sharing her story of loss, resilience, and success. People were moved by her journey. Adesua's story continued to inspire young women to pursue education and independence. Thank you so much for watching my story. The moral of this story is, it teaches us the importance of education, hard work, and resilience. No matter what life throws at us, we can overcome it with determination and kindness. My name is Onye of Onye Stories and Folktales. I hope you were able to learn a lesson from Adesua's story. Thank you so much for watching, and please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, this is me pleading with you. Please click on that subscribe button so when I post more interesting stories, you will get to see them. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I do not take your support for granted. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.